Now, at a time when the West's relations with Russia are souring rapidly, it seems young Arabs see the Eurasian giant as their #1 trusted ally. Well, this was one of the key findings of the 2018 Arab Youth Survey, which notes America falls from the top 10 for the first time in a decade. Have a look at this.
You can see a direct correlation between how young people see the United States from a political point of view. And they have, in one of the findings, said the Trump has a very 75% of the people polled said that the Trump presidency has a negative impact on the region. And that is the reason why they see the United States as an adversary. But when we ask the same people, which country do you want to live in? Which country do you want your own country to emulate? The United Arab Emirates came as the #1 choice, but not surprisingly, the second choice was the United States of America.
The politics of Yemen, of Iran, the politics of the region, does that bother these youngsters?
I think we do ask how young people look at allies, you know, and another surprising finding is the United States, that has always been among the top 10 allies for Arab youth across the Arab world. This year, from the top 5, they have dropped down to #11, and they have had an adversarial view of how they see United States. And that's a little bit surprising because the fall of the US as an ally has a consequential impact of how Russia has risen as the top non-Arab ally in the top 5.
Why?
I think clearly it's because of the recent last 12 months, the role that Russia has played, especially in Syria. They have been seen as a steadfast ally, as a strong, resolute country that, you know, that stands by Bashar al-Assad. Even though the young Arabs do not see Bashar al-Assad as a strong, as a leader that will take Syria forward, but they appreciate that Russia is there.
So now 60% of the Arab population is under 30, and there are more than 100 million young Arabs aged 15 to 29. This is an important annual check-in, a decade of hopes and fears. What surprised you most about this year's findings?
The one top finding that really surprised us this year is that all the young people across these countries saw Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, as the #1 Arab leader who will have the biggest impact across the Arab world.
We're talking about across the region, not just in Saudi and the UAE, correct?
Absolutely. That's the surprise factor, that there has been such a massive and overwhelming support for his leadership.
It's been a rocky year for media and its relationships with power. How has this, do you think, impacted the youngsters locally here in the region?
Over the last 9 years, we've asked the question, where do you get your news? And television has always been the #1 source of news. And for the first time, social media, especially Facebook and Twitter, has now emerged as the #1 choice, followed closely, of course, by television. But the other sources of media like print and magazines and radio become almost irrelevant for young people. I think that change has been different. And the fact that Facebook especially has emerged as the #1 choice. But we additionally asked a question about trustworthiness of brand. And here's something which you might like very much, Becky, and that CNN is seen as the #1 trustworthy brand by young Arabs across the 16 countries.